Okay, my name is Nicky Grasick, and this is the graphic mapping to PD, continuous assessment for sound synthesis. Um, what my application does that I created myself is a drum pad that can be used to create simple beats. So I'm just going to show you a little tiny bit of it working, just so you can see. So if I click on this square here, we can see that when the play bar passes through it, it hits that beat. And this is the tempo here, so we can change this so it hits it faster or slower. And then we can also hit other ones. And then we can change up the noise that's made as well by clicking other beats on the same line. And we can also remove them like that, and it continuously plays. So what I'm going to do is just explain my code and my project. So all the sounds that are played are sounds on the C major scale. Both the tone that's being outputted and the tempo, they're both controllable in my application. There's two things you have to do to make this work, and that is to import two libraries, Control P5 and OSC P5. This is very simple in this program, processing 3.2.3. You just click Add Library and you go down to either one of them. So we can see here we have control is actually added, but control was here when I had it, and then we have OSC. Both of them are not in this list because I've added them both already. Yeah, but they would be in this list if I hadn't added them already. Now, I'm just going to say that you can control the application just by using your mouse. You don't have any keyboard input or any other input at all. I chose to map these sounds like I did because it's very obvious and very simple that when you open this window, you can see that you can click in these different circles and the circle pops up, and then the sound is played, and then you can keep clicking. It's very interactive and obvious, and it just works very simply. And I thought that it needed to be very simple to understand and very user friendly, and that there should be no complication between using the application at all. And all right, I'm just going to explain a bit of my code. These up here, these just import the different libraries that I use. The setup of the different libraries. Here we set the number of horizontal lines and vertical lines. Both of them are 10, so we have 10 different beats that are played. We have a grid size of 500. This is where the green grid is shown. So this from here down to here is 500 square. And then we have an extra little space down here that just has the tempo bar. We just set up a couple of variables here just that are used later on in our code. This here is the setup code. It initializes and sets the size of the entire window to 500 by 600. The time is first instantiated at the time the program is opened. This is used later when we're checking for the play bar that says which square that it's playing from. Then we move on and we have the OSC P5 setup. This sets up the control between processing and PD. And the CP5, it's just a new controller that allows us to add sliders like the tempo bar down here. Here we actually add the slider, call it tempo, and set up its variables. Then we set up the port that processing and PD, pure data, communicate across. Now we have our draw method. This is the longest method, and it's basically like an update method. So we set the background color, we set the stroke weight of these lines here, how thick they are, and we set the weight value. So that's like how fast the play bar moves across the beats to whatever this slider here is at. Then we set up the horizontal lines, the distance between them, and these two for loops draw the horizontal and vertical lines. Then we move on, and these two lines just draw the two very outer lines. And then we have this method here that looks through our list of clicked boxes and draws that little circle in the box with the square center. So every time you click around here, it's added to the list and then it's drawn on screen. Now we move down again, and OSC message, we set up a message that is sent across to pure data. Then we clear our temp array that's set up, our temp int list that's set up here. We clear it of all values, and then we move this method here, sort of this if statement. It's what checks for the which notes to send out through the message over to pure data. So it comes in here, sees where the play bar is, adds the int to the int list, and draws the circle in that square, and then it adds all of the different points that are clicked in one line, in one vertical line, to the same note value. So when that line is moved across, all of them are added together, and then it's modulated so that it's within the range of the C major scale. And then so once that the temp size is greater than 0, it's able to send a message. So it won't like send any messages if nothing is clicked. It only sends a message once I do that. And then this just makes sure that the play bar goes from left to right and then back around to the start again, left to right, and so on. Now, this mouse pressed method just checks when exactly the mouse is pressed. So it gets the X and Y coordinates of the mouse click. So it gets exactly that point there where the mouse clicked. Then these two lines here, they figure out which grid square that you clicked within, and this here adds it to the list of notes to be played. And if the circle is already there and you click in the same square again, it removes it from the list. But if it's not there, it adds it. So that's the code in processing. And then if we move across to pure data, the pure data one is very, very simple. It literally just takes in the note, has a little number box here. This is sent to a table read. So it reads the note that's at the index in this number box. So for 5, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the 55. And then that note is set up with a velocity and a delay here, and then it's sent to note out, which is outputted through the speakers. So it's a very simple little pure data thing to generate the sound, but I think that because of its simplicity, it allows us to create a very cool little application that's fun to play with. So we can create music very simply and use it to play around, and it's fun and interactive. yeah, that is my application. I hope you enjoy it, and hopefully that was a nice little run through for it. Thank you very much, and